Military Madness Nectaris. Nectaris. That sounds like one of those car names that some subcompact would come out with when the company's basically running out of car names. The Nectaris, it's just like the Accord except $25,000 less. It's shaped like a box, it has speakers that light up when the bass hits, and it will fall apart if you put more than 3 people in it. The Nectaris. It's in the freezer aisle at your local grocery store, $6.99, no warranty available. It's the rabbit versus the lynx. 2 other car names. Seriously, every animal and every number combination has already been chosen. They may as well go with Nectaris for the next subcompact shaped like a shoebox with roller skate wheels. Who would win in a battle of the rabbit versus the lynx? I'm gonna go with the A4. Wow, good job, rabbits. I think you would have been better off shouting at the hunters that just blasted you into oblivion. Beneath some catchy music, Military Madness is a fairly standard turn-based strategy game available for the Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network. This is the Xbox version. It's a budget-priced game, so don't expect too many fancy visuals. It does have multiplayer, which I think is the strength of the game because the single-player campaign was a bit stale. And I like turn-based strategy games. What drives me crazy about this one is that you have factories, but they can't really produce anything. And you're left with mostly units that cannot fire up, which makes shooting aircraft extremely difficult to the point of frustration because you can't even develop equipment that shoots up. It's not that hard. Just put a block in front of your tank and aim it at the sky. Anytime you do anything, the enemy's hunter, which is named after an awesome TV show, will come out and destroy you. And maybe this is like real life, but at least in real life you can aim up. Or at least produce something in a factory. They're not really factories in this game, they're more like parking garages, because you can take them over, but then you only get the units inside. So keep your tickets, pay in the pay station before exiting the garage. There are several units in the game. In fact, quite a few, and like most strategy games, they all do slightly different things. Some are stronger than others, some move further than others. You have units which are like soldiers, and they're the ones that can capture the factories, and of course, they're the weakest and most vulnerable. Fans of straightforward turn-based strategy games may very well love this game. If you're more into like the Command and Conquer series, or Herzog Zwei on the Genesis, or something like that where you can develop and produce more on the fly, then I don't know that you'll really dig this one very much. It's really like a chess game with tanks and little space planes and stuff. One thing that Military Madness Nectaris does well in the game is it uses the environment in a way that allows the player to think tactically about where they're attacking and defending from, because if you look on the bottom right of the screen, some locations will give you a stronger amount of offensive or defensive power. Also, surrounding your enemies will give you an advantage in battle. There's about a dozen levels in all. I think this is level 4 or 5 that we're watching here. The first couple are extremely easy, and then it starts easing you into some serious challenge, which I did enjoy. I do like a good turn-based strategy game. I found this one frustrating at times merely because when you put anything out in the open, the enemy plane will swoop in and get you, and there's a few units that can attack it, something called a seeker, and there's one that shoots missiles at it. But then after you damage it, it just retreats back to the factories. So you really want to capture the factories, which is a sort of a catch-22, because when you move your soldiers towards them, they get blown up. Now, maybe I just didn't figure something out in the game. I read the instructions, which are actually very good. I read the instructions a couple times. But, you know, maybe I've just played too much Herzog Zwei in the Genesis, because in my mind, it's like go to your factory and develop some stuff that shoots down the damned airplanes, or at least turn into a robot and crush everything. In conclusion, as I said, this is an affordable turn-based strategy game, so really fans of turn-based strategy need only apply for this one. As you would expect, it does have achievement points and or trophies, depending on what game system you're playing on. You can save mid-game, which is a nice feature, and the addition of multiplayer is a nice touch. Military Madness